Hi, folks. This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. I got to tell you, one of the things that we have to realize right now in fall fishing, and we really are lucky this year. We've had some wonderful extended weather that has given us a chance to be able to go fishing. Whereas if the days were colder, more miserable, a lot of us wouldn't go fishing. And I've noticed more people fishing along the banks as I go along Route 37, and especially near Faubourgs, where you see people with their chairs still going out along the bank, enjoying this last of the year fishing. But there's certain things that I think we should be aware of as the weather changes and as the habits of the fish change. The cover, the structure that the fish use for protection, for a place to ambush other fish, that's decreasing. The weeds, every day, at least every week, there's less and less weeds left in the water. So that habitat is changing. And so there's areas where there used to be fish, there aren't fish now. Those fish, I would say now, instead of 90% of fish being in 10% of the water, 90% of the fish are in 5% of the water. So the goal now is to find those areas where those fish are going to group up, which they will do this time of year. They're going to group together, and that's where you're going to find your fish. Why are they grouping together? For protection. And also, there's less variety of food for them to eat. All the foods that they could find in the summer. In the summertime, there's all kinds of life around our area. The air is hot, the water's warm, and you'll see fish feeding on just about everything, and they'll be scattered all through the different water area. Now, most of that food is gone. And I think the fish have shifted in their preference or in their need to feed on other fish. And so the small prey, the small schools of minnows that in the spring of the year were plentiful. There was thousands. They'd just been born. So many of them have died off. And those that are left are bigger now. So their food is going to be bigger. They're going to be feeding more on minnows. And therefore, those fish are going to school up and be where they find these packets of prey fish. So it's something I think to be aware of. I find this time of the year, there's so many changes. The fish that strike, they don't have the same energy. The water's getting colder. They're cold water species. And so as they get colder, they get less active. They don't fight as hard. They don't strike as hard. They don't move as quickly. All these things you got to be aware of. And so as a fisherman, you've got to change your habits to adapt to this. You use something that looks more like a minnow. You fish it maybe in a slower speed. You use something that is the size of what they're going to feed on now. There's just so many aspects. And also, you've got to realize that most of the fish, those shallow water areas where there was plenty of food, there isn't food there now. So those fish might not be in all those shallow water sections, those back in bay areas where there was lots of food. The fish won't be there now. So there's new things to remember, new things to discover, but this still can be a great time to go fishing. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.